I've got the case, obviously, off the table because I'm going to start disassembling the valve body, and I like to put probably a shift kit in it, probably Transgo, TF1 and TF2, and there's TF3. I think TF3 is more strictly for like drag racing sort of applications. I don't think I'm going to go that far, which is the TF3. I'm probably going to go with the TF1 or probably the TF2 settings. So what I got in there in that box over there is actually the Transgo TF2 kit. And I think I'm going to set it to the milder side, closer to the TF1, because this car is a cruiser. It's not going to do exactly some racing or anything like that. Probably some occasional spirited driving. But if I go too firm on the shift, it'll probably bang the rear end up. So I don't want to do that, because it's got the 741 case with the 276 gears, so all that torque, and you can just keep hammering on that rear end gear. I don't want that. So I think I'm going to go on the mild side of the TF2, TF1, so it's going to be right in the middle. But we're going to disassemble this and see what's in there. All right, so I hope this perspective here is not too jarring. Now, what can we take off? Well, okay, let's try from the other side. Let's leave that in park. I think this will be my area where I'm going to be leaving all the parts like as is. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 screws. All right, I'm game. Some of these screws are really tight, so you might want to get like those little ratchet half-inch attachments on your ratchet, and then you can get some good torque on these screws. So these are the screws for the valve body. I'll tell you what, this is actually kind of frightening that these are this loose. I might speed this footage up right here because a lot of this stuff here is not exactly critical. Most of this footage is going to be mostly uncut also, so I don't kind of confuse people also, and myself also, because I'm probably going to need to refer to this video later for reinstallation or reassembly. Using power tools here, I'd probably be careful with that, because you might strip the aluminum and the pot metal that this casing might be made out of. Or I think this is aluminum, but the other side is probably pot metal. Just be careful if you are using power tools. For now, I'm using hand tools because I kind of like to get a feel for how tight they were. And it might point whether I had an issue with the tightness of these screws or not. You know, like the transmission was probably slipping or something like that because the screws are too loose, you know, kind of points to more clues really to some potential issues. Now, upon the surface observations, I don't think the valve body is cracked. Like there's these little casting marks that's kind of going to and from across the valve body, but I think we're fine. It's not cracked, which is good because these early A727 valve bodies were known to crack. So it's kind of a shame because these valve bodies are in limited supply, very limited supply, and it's a push button valve body, so that makes it even more difficult to source. I'm gonna try my best to keep my hands away, just so you can see where I'm putting what, or what I'm removing from where. I kind kind of got tightened up. And it's interesting. That'd probably point to the valve body's warped in a sense. Or it's got the separator plate. That's probably a torquing on everything else. I think we got to remove this. I'm trying not to remove too much of stuff here because this one's gotten tight. I hope it's not eating the threads. I'm not trying to remove screws that's like absolutely non-necessary. Okay, is that it? Yeah, I think these need to be removed. Just gotta be careful because I know there's some check balls in here. Let's see. Yeah, that looks necessary to remove. Okay. Now keep in mind this is spring loaded. Okay. Just kind of trying to keep track of, okay, so there's a screw on top of there that needs to be removed. So I'm going to flip it and keep it like that. And we're removing this screw right here. This would be kind of interesting to see what kind of adjustments were on this valve body. Okay, it's a pretty short looking one. I'll leave that over there. So do note that this piece has the check balls in there. Okay. This ATF is not making it easy for me. Short ones over here. That's the last one. It's quite a bit of under pressure. I'm gonna see if I just hang this valve body off to the edge here so I can get a handle on things. Three short screws on the valve body that's holding this little, I believe that's the pressure regulator bracket. Short screw came from underneath there. I believe that might be the governor or 1-2 governor assembly or pressure. Actually, you know what? I don't know what it is. Huh. Let's just be honest. Okay, so it's that's a set screw. And so that's a set screw. Alright. Where I'm just gonna take it out as I found it. This is a good practice. Okay. Now we're gonna, I think that's it actually. Okay. Well, good thing is okay. I was kind of afraid that some of the check balls might have moved, but that is not the case. That is very good. Move this aside. Put that over there. Oh, okay, so that's where it came off of. I see, I see. So, yeah, I know you guys are thinking, you're not mentioning the part that fell out. This over here that fell out, that is the puppet valve that lives right here, in this corner over here. So, I just have to make a mental note of where stuff goes where. Let's see, so this is on top right quadrant of the valve body. So we're going to be leaving that right there. There. I believe there are 5 check balls in here to keep track of. I'm just going to kind of hold it up. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 check balls. Wait, is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I looked at the manual, which is kind of interesting, but this ball over here does not constitute as a check ball, which is kind of interesting. The manual just calls it a steel ball. Very interesting. There's probably a 7th check ball somewhere in here, probably around up here, but I didn't hear anything. Now, yeah, okay, so I'm going to leave that alone. And as I said, this is mostly going to be uncut footage, so I don't screw anything up. So that's, if I'm looking at this correctly, this is, no. Oh, yeah, I'm probably wrong on that. This is probably the 1-2 shift valve. And if this doesn't come out, just kind of, you know, don't use force. Like that. If it kind of gets caught, go back. Very interesting. I don't see any nicks or anything like that. Alright, keeping that there. Okay, I guess we're going to start taking the check balls out. Okay, come here, you. That's not coming out. I do not want to use a screwdriver, but if necessary, I will. Oh, okay, we got 1 check ball out. This one, right there. Happy little trees. Oh man, that's dangerous. That's magnetized. This ball goes into that hole right there. A little pocket. Right there. So maybe I should keep him closer. There we go. This one goes here. So far so good. The check balls is kind of what scares me the most. I don't want to lose track of this stuff. Yeah, okay. Back over here. I might move this side back over here. So this is back over here. That'll be good. Laying it out as I go, like the real professionals do it. Not saying I'm a professional. Let's see, that is centrally located from here, so it's like right there. Is that right? Yeah. And the steel ball, the big one, will go right next to it. There you go. I think I kind of labeled it out as I went. Now I'm just gonna reiterate how it went. This one, this ball here, goes here. That ball goes here. This ball goes here. This ball right there goes right there. And this one goes, yeah, that one right there goes here. To the left hole right here. Or the left bathtub. Some people like to call them bathtubs because it does look like a bathtub. And then the big one ball here goes here. And I think we're done here. Okay, there should be the 1-2 shift and the 2-3 governor pistons or valves back here. Keep your hand on it because it might come shooting out because it might be spring loaded, which I don't think so. Oh, that was loose. Tight. Let's try this one. Getting these screws off, it's like it just requires that burst of momentum of twist. Cover is lifting off, so that kind of points toward it being spring loaded. Just keep that there for now. Easy does it. So this valve or this cover plate went on right there. I'm going to put the screws back where they originally came out of because sometimes that is very necessary. I'm not going to take too much shortcuts here, especially on the valve body. It's too critical for that. And then I'll clean these off later. Okay, so kind of just not trying to lose track of where stuff goes where. Let's see. If you have a magnet, that'll probably help also. Oh, close enough. Man. So ATF has some friction material left on it, so I can't let go of some of the screws. 3 valves. This piston, I think it might be called. Ooh. Let's not drop things, Butterfingers. Okay. This is centrally located. It's got a spring in here. I think this is a... Ooh, that's a stiff spring, so we might need to be able to put that back in. Can't remove that valve right there. Oh, there we go. Okay, so if this is the governor valve, there's going to be a modification that's going to be needed. We're going to need to cut a channel into it. That was dangerous. Very much dangerous. Let's, so this is probably another governor valve here. That's probably the 1-2. This is probably the 2-3. Unless I got swapped around. Or it's none of those. Neither of those. Okay, so we're going to turn the valve body around. We're going to take off 1, 2, 3. Yeah, let's take off those 3 screws first. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Alright, take it easy. Easy there. So this went on. This went on like that. And the spring over here as well. This transmission is probably like, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, so just so I don't lose track of the orientation, let's keep you in there for a second. So this came out like that, correct? Yes. So that means over here and here. That looks good. 3 screws. Actually, I broke my rule. I was gonna keep all the bolts together on which hole they came out of, but well, we kind of failed that. I'm going to keep these screws right here. I hope that didn't mix you up if you were following along. Okay, here's another valve. Alright. Just going to keep the orientation correct like this. It's going to be right on here. There we go. There we go. That'll be much better. So I can keep track of where goes where. Here's another valve. If it gets hooked up, just kind of go back and forth. It might be varnished. There you go. Came out like that. This is actually kind of... here's a good indication. The back of this valve right here is dark in color, and then the spring goes over it. If you look at the other valve, it's dark in color, and then the spring went over that. So you can kind of assume, safely assume, it went like that. There's 1, 2, 2 valves, and another one back here. Oh, Now I didn't, I forgot about that one. Oh dear Lord. Let's see. I'm guessing. Good thing I didn't kind of twist it all over the place. Potentially right here, but I'm not exactly sure. Probably like that. Yeah, probably like that. Well. Okay, so what is that? Ooh, that's not nice. That's dirt. And I cleaned this table off, so I know that there was no dirt present. So this came from inside the valve body. That's not good. Now we're moving on to these back 2 screws there. It's going to be right next to the poppet valve over there. Okay, so this plate went on like that. Oh dear Lord, what's going on here? Wow, that is interesting. I've never seen a valve inside a valve. Valveception. So it would have probably been like that. Ooh, there's a little bit of scuffs on there. That's not good. Alright, I'm gonna keep the orientation correct again, so it came out like that. So it's gonna be, oh, interesting. So this moves in and out also. Yeah, so this moves in and out. I'm gonna keep it in there just to minimize the amounts of parts, or less amounts of parts I have to keep track of. There's metal shavings in there. That is not nice. Not good at all. Right next to the poppet valve, so I don't lose track of it. 2 of the screws go into the plate. Right there. Fantastic. I think the valve body is pretty much free aside from this and this valve. Okay. I'm going to take this, flip it over. Okay. How am I going to disassemble this even further? The rooster comb needs to come out. And the rooster comb is this piece right here. There's an E-clip here. Can I get it out without needing the proper tool? Potentially. And have it go flying somewhere in the garage, and then there'll be hours of cursing because I didn't do it right. What was I going to do? Oh, right, C-clip. Or I mean the E-clip. Ouch. That went into my thumb. Note to self, don't prick yourself with the E-clip. So the rooster comb is almost off. I just need to be careful of the detent ball because it's spring loaded. These the rooster comb should pull off. Back it out into another gear. Actually, I want to keep the, yeah, you know what? I'm going to just keep the E-clip right there. Alright. No, this, there doesn't seem, oh, that's interesting. This is probably lead welded on there. Very interesting. Okay, I remember now how it goes. This piece has to go down. There you go. Just a little bit of coaxing was all it was needed. And what did I tell you? I wasn't careful of the detent ball, so it kind of came shooting out. So probably a little forcing it. Ooh. Yeah, the shaft is kind of scored up pretty good. Well, I hope that this little cut or video cut wasn't too jarring. And we're gonna resume where we pretty much just left off. We just took off the let's see, the shifter arm. I think that's what it's called. Okay, so I'm gonna keep track of where it goes where. Okay, and the E-clip that secures that rod is right here. Keep that with there. And we're gonna remove the rooster comb. And do remember the detent ball fell off earlier, which is right there. And the detent ball looks like it has a little bit of a dent in it. Let's see. Okay, so you have the detent ball. It's worn on one edge, understandably, because the rooster comb is constantly coming back and forth and brushing up against it. Put the detent ball right there. Face up. I'll look at the valve or the valve body like this. Okay, so the rooster comb is centrally, or actually it's right next to there. Okay, kind of need to make some space then. Right there. I hope that doesn't jumble me up. The detent ball goes, let's see, right there. And we're gonna need to put the rooster comb's little rod. We're gonna need to clean that off because it's rusty. This is kind of better shape than a lot of the other rods are. Like the other rods are probably be like crusted on. So we're gonna put that right there. Okay, and we're gonna take out the rod here, which the TF2 kit has supplied. This is the replacement. The replacement is in the kit. And do not force it. Okay, well I think it's a good thing that we're replacing this because it's a little bit scored and damaged. Okay. There we go. Okay, so that needs to come off also. What is that? Okay, so we need to take this off, which looks like maybe 5/16 nut, or it looks like a lock nut. kind of. I'm gonna go get a wrench so we can take that off.